Hi, all. What a beautiful day it is. I hope all of you are having a wonderful evening. And to make it even more interesting, we are all ready with another event. But firstly, I am Sivamari Premnath, the co founder of Nomad Buddy, and I shall be your host today. So, at Nomad Buddy, we are building an ecosystem for like minded digital nomads and remote workers worldwide. We are working on a mission to create seamless travel and work experiences for people who want to live their life to the fullest. Are you excited to know how we are going to build this incredible ecosystem? Stay up to date with our social media pages just by Googling Nomad Buddy, and that is all. So, something special is going to come up within a month for our global citizens. So, stay tuned. On behalf of our team, we are warmly going to welcome you all to this content filled discussion that is going to be full of excitement. We are ready to kick off this event Digital Nomad Dream to Reality: How to Build a Business That Travels with You, with our wonderful speakers. So, now let us get into this discussion and sink into our minds into the depth of insights. We have organized this event with Start, Sort, Scale, which ensures that all nomads to start, sort, and scale their businesses without any hassle. So, in order to host this event with us, we have two special guests today as our panel who will share their thoughts and experiences as insights with us. So, first of all, we have our first speaker introducing Jeremy. He's our process improvement and delivery expert. He's an impressive track record of effecting change and driving growth across diverse service businesses. He has also held senior management positions in a major financial institution and as a top tier lawyer. He's driven to see his customers succeed. And second up, we have Robin. Robin is an award winning business administrator. She has 15 years of experience as an executive assistant, providing high level strategic and operational support to CEOs and directors. She has worked across a wide range of industries, including not for profit, media publishing, and digital businesses. And moreover, she is also passionate about sorting her goals and helping business owners to achieve their goals. So now let us welcome both of our panelists today, Jeremy and Robin.
Thank
Hi.
you, Mr. Mori.
Hello.
Really appreciate it. It's great to be here with the Nomad Buddy team. We always enjoy working and talking to you guys, so really thrilled to be here with you today.
Yes, I'm so glad that we got to partner up with you all and have this discussion because I'm sure that at the end of this discussion, all of us are going to be amazed and also get some information as to how we can actually start our businesses and expand as digital nomad. So, without further ado, let's go into the questions that we have for you today. So, just before we start off with the whole session, I just wanted to know, how did you actually get started off as a digital nomad?
Well, that's a great question. So I think, like a lot of people, it probably happens organically. So the pandemic meant that Robin and I were stuck in Australia, where we met. And Robin's from the UK, and we really wanted to be closer to her family over here. So we decided, as soon as the travel restrictions let up, that we'd set off. But we did a bit of traveling in Italy first, and we initially thought that we'd get uh, corporate jobs just like we had in Australia, just in the UK. But we trialed, I suppose, the digital nomad lifestyle for 2 months, traveling in Italy and eating the food and seeing the sights and enjoying the sun and having the freedom. And I remember we turned to each other on a bridge in Venice and said, oh, I don't know that I can face going back to the corporate 9 to 5, sit in an office sort of life. So really, that was the point where we looked at each other and we decided that we had to make a positive change in our life, and that we actually should explore being free of the 9 to 5 and being free of like having to be in a particular spot. So it was a sort of a try before you buy experience for us.
I think that's really relatable as well for a lot of us, because right after COVID-19, I think that was a instance where all of us got like a big, like, okay, I don't think this is suitable for us. I think we need to be a bit more flexible. So
Absolutely.
far, yes. So far, can I know how is this experience for y'all? Right now, y'all have moved from Australia and y'all have been to Italy, and y'all have right now y'all are at UK. So how far?
Yeah.
How is it? Is it good, or is it bad, or is it
So
like a mixed
yeah,
bag?
we know we love it. We've been so Italy, France. We've done some of Asia. Obviously, we've been in Australia doing this, and all around the UK. And we've got some stuff coming up in Spain as well. Before we go back to Asia, it's been great. And I got to say, it's been a huge growth experience for us as well. And so all the challenges, and there are some we'll talk about later in this talk. All the challenges are really like growth opportunities, and so not only am I seeing things I wouldn't have ever been able to see. I'm doing it with Robin, my business and life partner. I'm fitter and happier than I've ever been. So it's great. There are definitely tricks to mastering the lifestyle, and we'll talk about that. But it's definitely a lifestyle that I think people should explore.
I think, yeah, I think it's just about practice. And, like you said at the first question, that, trial, like you have a sort of a trial and figure out everything. And once you
That's
do
right.
figure it out, you get those certain tricks that you can make sure that this lifestyle is like the best suitable for you all. So, the next stuff that I want to know is, from past discussions that I've had with you all, I did notice that you do pet sit across a lot of the countries that you visit to. So, can I know more details or more information that even the other digital nomads could follow? I think this is some sort of a trick that we could all follow. So,
Yeah, totally. So we use an app called Trusted House Sitters. There are lots of other apps sort of out there on the market, but it helps to kind of choose one platform, because then you can build your profile and get reviews. And the more sits you do and the more reviews you get, the easier it becomes to book pet sits. And so, I mean, really for us, it's been the key to building our own business, because it takes out the bills, the rent, the Wi-Fi, the Netflix cost. So that's all covered. We don't have to worry about that. So that everything we earn in the business can either be invested back into the business, or we can use it for our, digital nomad lifestyle to travel to different places and see all these things. And it really it basically works like an online dating site, if anyone has done online dating. So you create your own profile with information about yourself and pictures of you with pets and about any experience you've had in the past. They may be family pets or friends' pets that you've looked after. And then people post, people who want you to come and sit for them, they post their sort of jobs. And you can apply on the app. You can introduce yourself. Quite often we'll have a video call with someone before, and then once you are on the sit, like once you've kind of made like confirmation, it's basically a straight swap. So we don't get paid. We get to live in the house. We look after the pets. We do some kind of basic sort of things around the house. So obviously we keep it clean and tidy. If they have deliveries or maybe they have, someone calls on the phone and they want you to take messages, or we do small things like that. But then, in return, we get to sort of not pay any rent, not pay any bills. And it's just given us so much flexibility to grow our business and also to see places that we wouldn't normally travel to, because you're kind of away from those tourist places because they're places that people actually live and you're staying in their homes. So you're kind of seeing places that maybe you wouldn't normally visit when you travel. And as I say, we've done mainly in sort of the UK, but also in Italy. And we've got 4 weeks coming up in Spain, literally in like a week's time. So looking after 2 little dogs there. So I would really, really highly recommend it for anyone who wants to sort of start their digital nomad journey on a budget.
I think that's a really great idea. And for the first time I talked to you all, that is not really a big concept in Sri Lanka itself. But once I did hear about it, I think it makes more sense that, you are able to cover your cost mainly as a digital nomad, because we are not like the other travelers in general. We usually focus more on cost sensitivity and we look into those factors before we decide if we are going to that place to stay. So I think this is a very good trick that I think all of us could use. But I think the downside is just that you need to be a animal lover, like either a dog or a cat lover. So but I think there is no one who doesn't like dogs or cats, so one of that is preferred. So I think it's a big go-to. So based on this question itself, that one of the main factors that is like a huge challenge to all the digital nomads is usually related to the cost. But in addition to that, you do have other challenges like legally, and while you're traveling, there may be certain safety issues, privacy issues. So how do you usually tackle these, and what sort of other challenges do you face as well during your experience right now?
Sure. I mean, I could talk about this for a lot of time today, but I will try and keep it on point. But I guess the main challenge for us was figuring out how to get a really lightweight business up and running quickly that earn us some money and that really gave value back to people. Fortunately, Robert and I have tons and tons of experience in doing that, but doing it as a digital nomad is definitely different. For example, one of the key things you need to think about when you're a digital nomad is sort of currency exchange, right? So you need to have a way to both spend money in the local currency cheaply and receive money if you're selling online services. So a lot of your kind of high street banks or the traditional banks are really bad at this, and the products they have are really expensive and the exchange rate's really poor. What you want to do is get a product like Wise or Revolut. We use Revolut to spend money, and then to receive money in the business, we just use Stripe, which is one of the really big e-commerce platforms. But you've got to crack that, otherwise you'll be paying so much money in currency conversion fees. The other, I guess, key tip, and we have a little slide for this. The other key tip is, even though you don't live at a fixed address, you need an address for paperwork. So digital nomads prove that the whole concept of a fixed address is totally outdated, and you don't need it to travel the world, to do business, to relate to people, and to be an effective person. But governments, banks and like telecommunication providers just haven't caught up. So, for example, you will find it nearly impossible to open a bank account anywhere in the world unless you have an address. So, my top tip, and it's really important, is either if you have an address in your home country where you set up all your banking from, use that. If, for example, your rental ends or whatever it is, find a family member or a friend who's happy for you to say that this is my permanent address. It's going to make your life so much easier when it comes to getting a mobile phone contract or trying to open a bank account. So it's a little bit ironic that as a digital nomad, my top tip is really find a fixed address somewhere that you can use and say that's my fixed address.
Yeah, I think no one really touches that point because, like you said, when you do move from a country to a country and you're not going to be, generally there for more than 6 months or so, you do need an address, right? And most of the countries are still in those mindset where it's still going through paperwork legally, and you do need that address. So I think that is a very good point that all the digital nomads here in the discussion could use into. But during a discussion, we did see how the cost factor and how money is a very important part of any digital nomad's lifestyle. So, can I know how it has actually influenced your life so far? And if so, like what has changed from the lifestyle that you had before as a 9 to 5 corporate job, and how money has impacted you right now?
Yeah, no, definitely. So it is really different. When we were in Australia, we both earned our own salaries. And there was a portion of that we combined for like our mutual living expenses and our savings. And we did save up quite a lot of money before we made this move. And luckily the pandemic made it quite easy to save money because we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't leave the house for a long time. So that kind of really helped us. But we still kind of had, if you like, our own money that you would spend on your personal things, maybe clothes, maybe going out with friends and all that stuff. And what's changed for us, and obviously it depends if you're starting a business with someone else, like we've started this business together. But for us now, everything is just combined. So I would really consider if you feel comfortable with that, like even if you're starting a business like with a friend or a partner or whoever it is, brother or sister, for us, it's all just completely combined in one pot. And it also really blurs between the money that is spent on the business, the money that is spent on our lifestyle, like it's all kind of blurred together. And so that's a kind of change of mindset from that corporate 9 to 5. And so it's really important to kind of discuss what that looks like for you, what you're comfortable with, what you need, like how much independence do you want financially to spend on things. And so I think the key is to just be really open and make sure you discuss like those money matters really early on with the person if you are setting up a business, as I say, like with another person. The other key thing is that remember, like anything you buy when you're a digital nomad, you have to carry. So I think, if you think you need it, like really examine, do you actually need it? So I know when we started doing work, just from a laptop, we were used to having this kind of bigger setup, screens and like a mouse and a headset and all this sort of thing. And it took us a while to really examine, like, what do we actually need? Like, do we need the mouse? Do we need the second screen? Like, what's the minimal amount of stuff that we need to run the business? Because at the end of the day, you have to fit it in your backpack. You have to carry it with you. And we can definitely say from experience that the less stuff you have, the easier this lifestyle is.
Yeah.
And we get used to wearing kind of the same clothes every day and sharing a lot of toiletries, to be honest.
Yeah, I think just for the fact that, like, a point that you mentioned right now, the extra thought that goes into if you actually need this device or need this thing, because, like you said, because you're traveling from one place to another, it's always going to be in your backpack or with you, right? So I think that is going to be a very eco-friendly kind of a concept that is coming into digital
Definitely.
nomad lifestyle. So I think with the way things are going with globalization and global warming happening, I think this brings a huge impact into our whole lifestyle as well. So amidst all these challenges, Jeremy and Robin, how do you actually maintain your productivity? How do you make sure that you keep up with all the tasks that you have? Have these deadlines for say, a certain task, and how do you make sure that you go and fulfill that specific task?
So it's about building habits that are independent of place. So the old like 9 to 5 mindset is, productivity happens between 9 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. in an office chair in an office, right? So you need to realize that humans don't work like that. And productivity is what you say it is. So what Robin and I do is we just have a chat each morning about what's on and what's coming up, and we actually define for ourselves what a productive day will be. And typically that's like 2 or 3 big tasks and a couple of admin tasks and maybe something else. But if you don't define for yourself what productivity is, you can find yourself slipping back to that 9 to 5 mindset, where if you're not working those hours, you sort of feel a bit guilty about it. And if you go out and do some of like, the tourist stuff that you're there to do, you might in the back of your mind be thinking, oh, I should be getting back to emails or whatever it is. No. You define what productivity is. So it's about breaking out of that 9 to 5 and realizing that you can work when works for you. Robin and I have taken that too far sometimes, though. Like recently, we realized we needed to actually back off because we were working like maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day. But then we just looked around and said, oh, whoops, it's been 10 or 12 days in a row before we took a break. So remember to go a bit easier on yourself. But with that mindset, I think what I've found, and I know what you found as well, is we get more quality work done in a shorter period by deciding that productivity is what we define it is.
Wow, I think
sorry, that's just another couple of tips actually, just on the
Yeah.
forming habits that are independent of place. Like one of the things that actually makes it really easy for us is, we've unpacked and unpacked our backpack so many times I can do it like blindfolded like someone in the army.
Jeremy used to hate packing, can I just say at this point? Now he's like a professional.
But I carry around like a strength band and some running shoes, so I can work out wherever I am in the world. And we know what we eat for lunch and breakfast most days, and it's made up of ingredients that you can buy anywhere. So that decision is all like taken out. We don't have to like worry about any of that. So try and build habits that can give you a sense of routine that aren't tied to being in a specific place.
Wow, I think that's like a great advice as well, because deciding what productivity is for you in general and taking steps according to that, and not just like sudden decisions, but like you said, like small habits that will help you in reaching your goals day by day. I think that's what matters at the end of the day, because your health, you're healthy, you're fit, and you're also able to look into your task and finish them. So it all combines and comes as a whole as a digital nomad. So I think as a digital nomad, when you make sure or you do take that extra step in having that work-life balance, it is very I think it is very mandatory, like you said, to have that like a boundary and a sort of a perspective for yourself, rather than you looking at others and deciding what you need to do. So keeping that in mind, I think we are nearing to the end of the questions, like as a digital nomad itself. So just to end that part of the discussion, how has digital nomadism changed your perspective in life, in work, and also so far, what have you learned from your experiences from traveling from one place to another?
Yes, it's a big question. No, I think for us, like, it's just really opened our eyes to what's possible for us, which is basically anything we decide, like we get to choose. So like by building our own online business that we can do anywhere, like we have that freedom, we can live and work anywhere. We're not sort of chained to one location or one house or one country or one place. And like when you remove kind of that chain that's holding you there, it just opens things up. And it's like, it's actually both like exciting and sometimes it actually is also overwhelming to have such freedom, because like at the end of the year, you know, after September, we actually don't know where we're living or what we're doing yet. And that is both exciting and a bit scary because we don't know what's going to happen. Like I know that it'll be good and we'll have fun, but you do have to kind of get comfortable with that, with like keeping sort of some things open. And that just takes some time to get used to that. But I think it's also like in terms of what we've learned from the whole experience is just we've learned what really matters to us, which is kind of that freedom to have the choice to build the life that we want to live. And also like those relationships. So like when we do travel around, whether it's talking to people, you know, through the screen or in real life, like that's what sort of makes the whole experience like worth it. You have to keep connected to people and keep talking to people, especially if you're in a relationship, because otherwise you just talk to each other. Or especially if you're in a country where, you know, you don't speak the local language, you do have to like make that effort to go out and connect with people as well. But I think really for us, it's the concept that like nothing is fixed. So even if we decide one day, like just because you'd be a digital nomad for months or years or forever, like it doesn't matter. It's not like a pass fail at like the digital nomad life. So if we find somewhere and we want to stay there for some months or some years, like that's possible too. So it's really just you can create the life you want.
Yes, I think the two aspects, the fear of the unknown, if I'm supposed to, coin that term, and also the connectivity, right, just between people in general. Because I think a lot of the times right now with the technology being updated and, the world becoming together as one, we do often forget the power just a human word or human connection can hold. Yeah. So as a digital nomad, I think the most part of our traveling or life, we may go through that certain aspect where there is like a loneliness or a lack of isolation if we are traveling alone, or even if you do move into another country just for some time, you don't really know anyone there, but you need to make that decision to go out of your way, go out of your comfort zone and just talk with people, connect with them. And I think that's what matters a lot. So I think we have covered a bit of the spectrum in the digital nomad lifestyle. But with all the discussions that we've had, I think a very big solution that we usually go to is to start our own business. Or when you do move into a country and you have that opportunity where you have this gap in the market that you feel like you can tap into, I think that is where your digital nomadism can peak up even in your career life. So in terms of that, your business is the one I think that can help out all the digital nomads here. So as start, sort, scale, can we actually know and the audience so that they will know what does it actually do?
Sure. So in a sentence, I guess, we help businesses get digital, automated, and efficient. So it's always a bespoke solution, but the outcomes are that your business should be able to be operated from wherever you are. We're really passionate about remote work. You shouldn't be doing things that can be automated, and you can automate more things than you realize, and we're great at finding those for you. You shouldn't be wasting effort, so we eliminate wasted effort. And frankly, if you're a business owner, you should be focused on growing that business, making those connections. So we delegate all the stuff that you shouldn't be doing. We help you find the right person wherever they are in the world to do that for you. So our goal is to make your business as lightweight and as effective as possible.
I think that sums it up, because I think that's what everyone looks in for. Because when you do go to a new place, you don't really know what's happening. How do you start a business? And even if you do, like, how are you going to expand? So you're
Mm,
covering all those aspects for a digital nomad itself.
yeah.
So, can I also know from your perspective, as both of you all have worked as in the corporate industry, and right now you itself have started your own business and have been there for some time, what are some tips that you could tell for digital nomads in order to, kick off their business and start their business literally off from the ground?
Yeah, no, definitely. This is like I feel like super passionate about as well. So for us, like marketing is like the absolute key. So we spent so much time when we started Start Sort Scale talking about what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, what processes would we need, what systems would we need. And it took, a month or two before we were like, hang on, we need to tell people what we're doing. Otherwise, we're not going to get any clients. And that was the biggest mindset shift from our corporate jobs, because in the corporate world, there was never a lack of work, right? Work just keeps coming, and like oftentimes too much work, keeps coming through. And you never had to worry or wonder about where the next bit of work or the next job was coming from. Whereas if you start your own business, then it's up to you to get that pipeline flowing. And to do that, you have to tell people what you're doing. And really what we found is like two ways that we've managed to get our clients from Start Sort Scale. And it's basically one online and one offline. So online, it's about building your authority and your network. So we use LinkedIn, but it depends on the type of business that you want to run, like Instagram or YouTube or something might be more like appropriate. But what you want to do is just like consistently put like your opinions and your skills and your offering out there for people, and just offer all that value that you have, everything that you know, basically for free. Just put it out there. And what you'll find is, like, it happened actually to me today. I've been putting out this content on LinkedIn, and someone that I knew from Sydney years ago, who hasn't like ever interacted with any of my posts on LinkedIn, never commented, never even liked anything, like reached out to me in a private message and was like, hey, can you help us with our business? We want to like automate our systems and we need help with processes. So like, even though you might not find a lot of interaction on platforms like LinkedIn, like people will see what you're putting out there. And so you have to just get used to putting yourself out there and consistently. And it can feel like really uncomfortable at times. Like at the start, I think Jeremy and I used to kind of worry over the wording of like every post or every comment. And you're like, was this the best way of saying this? But actually, like, consistency is like the most important thing. And so just keep getting the habit of like putting yourself out there. And that also makes you get more comfortable with it. So like anything, the more often you do it, the easier it becomes. And then the other point, well, I guess this is something we wish we would have done, we wish we'd have started this when we were in our jobs in Australia. So we didn't know that we wanted to start our own business. But if we had known, like, my number one takeaway tip would have been that I'd have started building that authority and building my network there and then. And it doesn't matter if you're employed. It's not about like not telling your employer what you're doing. It's just about like having a voice in a space, sharing what you know, connecting with people, making comments on other people's content, and just starting to build that network so that you have somewhere to go, people listening when you decide that you're ready to put your business out into the world.
Yeah, I think those are like wonderful tips that all of us could, take into and start practicing every day. Because all the points that you said, even as a co-founder of Nomad Buddy itself, we are still going through those steps as well, like marketing and putting out ourselves there through the articles, through posts that we are publishing on LinkedIn, or whether it be any other social media. I think even like a small word would count in the post. So I totally relate to that statement that you made. So now that in our audience, everyone would be wondering as to where we are going with this discussion. So I think this is like, I think it's safe to say for us that it's an official partnership that we are making with Start, Sort, Scale, and Nomad Buddy itself. So in terms of the partnership, I think it would be very great if the audience gets to know like what special service or a product that you are going to be offering through our Nomad Buddy platform, just for the Nomad Buddy community members.
Great. Yeah. So we're really excited about this because we think it's really complementary, and we love working with the Nomad Buddy team. We think that the Nomad Buddy team are doing such a great job on the lifestyle elements, on the travel elements, on the exciting elements of the digital nomad experience. And we think that we've got a lot to add to the community around actually getting your idea, your business up off the ground. So we're really excited about this. This is only for remote and digital workers, and we're only offering it through Nomad Buddy. It's called 1K Startup. So for $1,000 USD, we will get your business going and we'll get it flying. So we help you develop from scratch a achievable, executable, and most of all, exciting business plan that takes what you're really great at and then turns it into a business for you. We will figure out a project plan for you, like with detailed steps of how we can bring that to life. And so we'll make sure that in addition to emphasizing all of your like strong characteristics, and everyone's got something to offer, you might have areas where you're not so hot. It might be web development, it might be marketing, might be sales, might be operations, whatever it is. We've got you covered. We have a huge network of really excellent operators, and included in the offer is 5 hours of expert support. So from a really great marketer, or us as people building operational systems and automations, or a web developer, or legal or finance, or whatever that specialized thing is. You get 5 hours of that person working on you specifically included, or you can have 10 hours of virtual admin support, whatever works best for your business. We'll have regular check-in meetings where we share all of our knowledge, all of our network, all of our referrals. Hey, we may even need what you do, but we will certainly know someone who does, and like we do have a great network. So we'll be checking with you along the way to make sure that your business gets off to a flying start. And then ongoing, we'll be sending referrals, we'll be expanding your network. We're always on call for ad hoc advice because we're really passionate about this space. We're really passionate about people building their businesses, and we're really passionate about seeing them build something that works for their lifestyle and helps them become remote and live a life that they want.
I think that's like an amazing offer that you could give to all the digital nomads who are coming through our platform as well. I think the main aspect that Digital Nomad has a community where we help each other out, we help each other grow as individuals as well. So keeping that in mind, Jeremy and Robin, just to end our discussion, what take-home advice would you give to digital nomads who are planning or who have already started their own businesses? What is the best advice that you could give for them?
No, definitely. So I think like number one, I'll just sort of go through the points that are up on the screen, but question what you think a business needs. So oftentimes in the corporate mindset, we're taking things that we thought we needed to have a business and we're putting them into our like current situation. Just for example, like a website. So do you need a full website with lots of different tabs and lots of different sections? Or could you just have a landing page that just outlines like one offer that you want to give people? Or is your LinkedIn profile page all you need if you optimize it with like links and examples of your work? So just really think about what you actually need to run your personal business. And then like, because every dollar you have, you either want to invest it back in the business to help it grow, or it's money that you can spend on your digital nomad lifestyle. So it's really important to watch those dollars. And then the second kind of broader tip is, like I've said here, business is done person to person. And this is kind of what we were talking about before as well. Like the more you talk to people, the more you put yourself out there, either in the online space or offline, face to face, that's how you grow the business. And like every time that we've connected with a new person in the sort of a business style networking, we've found either someone to help us, someone with advice, someone who has a client who might want to work with us. Because like small business owners and digital business owners really want to help each other. So when we go out into the community, we just find like people are so supportive and really, really want to help. And yeah, as we put there on the slide, the worst thing that can happen is you just go home and you've got all these skills for running your own business, and you can use that to, your next thing you want to do. So I just really encourage people to put themselves out there and have a go at being a digital nomad.
I'd also just add to that, own being a digital nomad. One of our early mistakes is we tried to present a more corporate face. And when we actually started saying, no, we're digital nomads, we're doing pet sitting, we're living everywhere, we actually got way more customers because people are really interested in that. And if you don't like networking, or if you find it like you don't want to go and be all salesy to people, don't worry about it. Talk about your digital nomad stuff. Everyone I've met is really interested in it. So it's actually a business advantage for us to be a digital nomad, and it can be a business advantage for you too.
Definitely.
Yes, I think that sums up the whole, positivity that surrounds, the whole digital nomad lifestyle. Because, like you said, networking is important, and within this community, even if you do have a smaller community within a specific country, you do still have people who are ready to help you out there and make you grow. So before we do come to the end of the session, I think Jeremy and Robin, you could reach out both of them through their LinkedIn accounts, and even you can find out their Instagram social accounts as well. So do follow them up and hit them up with any of the questions that you have, and even I think they would be ready to answer any of the issues or challenges that you are facing personally.
If you've got any questions at all about digital nomadism, about remote work, about pet sitting, about building a business, honestly, we could talk about it for hours and we'd be more than happy to engage with any of your community.
Yes, I think with that, we do come to the end of the session. So on behalf of the whole Nomad Buddy team, we do thank Robin and Jeremy from Start, Sort, Scale for sharing your valuable insights on building a business that travels with you based on your own experience. And as we come to this end of this event, let us all gather our hearts and minds to reflect on the profound impact that we can all make as a digital nomad itself. It is going to be within us that we rise above challenges and do venture beyond the unfamiliar rather. So together we will be standing, and we'll let us all come together and help each other out, and go to the edge of transformation so that this digital nomad lifestyle is going to be adopted by literally everyone around the world. So with that said, I think we do come to the end of the session, and we are going into the fear of the unknown that we have already mentioned. So let's go into that with an open change of hearts and an open set of minds and help each other out. So that said, I am Sivamari Premnath, officially signing off. Goodbye.
Thanks, Rory. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Robin. Bye.